Good afternoon. Today what I'd like to do is go over the equipment that we use for the cattle, the chute, the alley, the majority of the panels, and some of the gates. First thing I'll probably do is I'm going to go kind of from a distance to kind of show you the ease of operation, and then from there I'll kind of show you some of the closer details that they put into this system. We went with the system that was a little higher quality than some of the other stuff out there. We chose this for ease of use and because of the way we work the cattle. We work the cattle, just my wife and I. We prefer to do it that way. We know we both operate the same way as far as handling the cows. We don't want a lot of stress. We don't run them around. We don't push them real hard or anything like that. The two of us walk with them and kind of move them quietly and slowly, and we handle them the same way in the chute, and we prefer that method over running them and having 5, 6 people in there chasing them here and there and all over the place, and the cows getting stressed out and all of that. So anyway, what I'll do is I will just kind of go over some of the operation of it and why we chose this equipment over some of the others, and then I'll show you the things that are closer up. First thing I'll do is tell you though that the equipment that we chose is a little more expensive than some of the other equipment. Some of the other equipment that we have either used in the past or looked at before getting this equipment had something we didn't like about it, whether that be a ratcheting system or whatever, or something that we found in the past didn't work or work. Rather than buying something and being dissatisfied with it and then having to buy something else that you should have just bought the first time, we'd rather just pay the money up front and cry the one time and just be done with it in that aspect. So anyway, I'm going to set this up and I'm going to go over some of the operation and why we chose this system and go from them. One thing I do want to point out is I have absolutely no affiliation with these guys. I'm not making any money on this. I'm not in any way affiliated with Arrow Equip or any of their equipment or any sales or anything like that. I'm not making any money off of this, just to be sure. All right, let's take a look at the operation. One of the things that we were really happy with Arrow Equip and their operation were the doors or the gates for the entrance into the chute or the alley itself. They're super easy to control. They've got nice rollers and bearings, so I can use one hand and just push it open. Same thing, once you get an animal in there, it's super easy to pull it closed. It takes nothing, it's fast and it's easy. And to be honest, from the inside, I can do the same thing. If I have to follow a cow or a calf in, pushing them forward, I can grab the bar from the inside, same thing, give it a pull and pull it closed. So those are really, really great in their operation and the way they work. Additionally, generally Christy is on the opposite side. She'll have a table set up on that side for other shots or different things that she's doing. Additionally, she can get a hold of it and open it and close it equally as fast. It's super smooth operation and it's really super easy. That was really important for us because it is just the two of us. We needed something that isn't you know, a lot of them will have a gate and a latch and a handle and a rope pulley system, and they just never seem to work the way they're supposed to, and they never seem to work and operate smoothly. This for us was just the easiest way to go about something and go about opening and closing it, and that we can either one can operate from either side and be super easy. We didn't need you know, 2 or 3 people to operate it additionally to us. One thing you'll see typically in most of your cattle operations, small, large, whatever it is, most of the time they'll have 2 or 3 people working different parts of the system. You'll have somebody just closing gates, or you'll have somebody just running the chute. You'll have somebody just running the head gate or whatever it is. My wife and I, like I said, we prefer to do it just the two of us, slow and easy. The reason our cattle remain calm is because we try not to put a lot of stress on them most of the time. So we do the same thing when we're working them through here, and we want a really smooth, easy operation. Enough of that. Onto the alley. The alleys were really, really well thought out. So typically this is called kind of the lead up. Your couple panels that kind of get from a wider and come down to a narrow will be called kind of a lead up. The next section with these closed sides is called an alley. There are several things that I really like about this alley that others didn't have or that were just difficult in operation. We don't have a lot of cows and calves and different things, but what we do have is a small number of cows, a small number of heifers, and then a small number of calves, which means that we have to adjust the size of the alley quite a bit. What you don't want is you don't want the animal to get in here, close the gate, and then the animal have enough room for it to get turned around. For whatever reason, that's what animals with cows almost always want to do. And if they're given the opportunity and they've got enough room, they're going to turn around and they're going to try to come back out the same way they came. To help us with that, we got this system, and the thing that I love about this system is, I don't know if you can see, but there are several selections. Right now we've got it on all but the tightest one for the smaller animals, for the calves, but it opens in increments all the way up. There are 5 different settings on each side. So it makes it really, really adjustable. On top of that, the ease of adjustment is just really, really well thought out from my perspective. There's literally a rope right here. There's literally a handle here. The handle is attached to the rope, but you can also just pull it and open it. It'll remain open here. But typically we'll leave them closed. And to move this, to adjust it, there's the single rope, and you pull it down and the whole gate will move as far as you want. So you can move it all the way out to the widest position, all the way into the narrowest position with a single person. Super simple. You pull the rope down, done deal. Comes out, goes to the farthest one. Currently, at this time, I have locks on it set. I can unlock those if I need. If an animal gets down in here and I can't get it back up, for whatever reason it can't get its feet again, I can pull that rope, unlock that, and I can lay the entire door down. That is a feature which is, as far as I'm concerned, incredibly important. There's nothing more difficult than literally getting a calf that has fallen, or a cow, heifer, whatever that's fallen and gotten its leg wedged or somehow or another gotten itself to where it can't stand back up, and then you're stuck. If this didn't lay down, then what? What do you do? There's not a lot you can do, but boy, it becomes a lot of hard work. You got to have a person on that end, this end, trying to lift, pry, move, whatever you've got to do to try to get that animal back up. With this, I can literally pop that open, lay it down. The animal can get back up now because it's not wedged in there, and you go back to doing whatever you've got to do. I'm going to put that lock back on there so it can't come down. We don't want that to come down. Typically, you don't want one hand with, I don't know, some pour-on or something like that, ivermectin, and trying to just move this, which you can do, typically, but you don't want it to fall and be open, have a cow and calf right there getting out. So it's very, very well thought out. One other feature I did want to point out is this section right here. We have calves that are about 6 months old right now. They're getting tall enough they can put their heads out of these. They can put their heads out of even of this area here. The calves we have now are not big enough to put their head out here, but they would be able to do it here. But if we wanted, we can always take this section out, so this would be open if we wanted to. If we didn't have to worry about calves or anything like that, we wouldn't have to worry about this. We could take this section out and it wouldn't be in our way. That would be beneficial if we had more cows and running everything through real fast and we had, say, 4 or 5 people helping us. If we took this out and we only had cows, we could run them through and a guy could give shots through this section to the cow in line. But because we don't have that, we do have calves, we'll leave this in place. But it's a really good feature for the system, for what we need. It's amazing what a cow or a calf, it's amazing what a calf can get its head through, but once it gets its head through, it seems nearly impossible to get its head back out. I don't know how they do it, but they seem to wedge their head in there and get it through, and then they pull their head straight again and can't get out. And they're literally wedged in a small space like this. And to try, they're pulling that way, and for you to have to try to pull and twist their head, it becomes really difficult to do. So it's a really good feature. We last thing I'll point out is we also have an additional one of these for each side that does go here, but so far we've not needed them. So we just have these up right now. Okay, for the chute, there are just a number of things that we preferred about this chute. First off, it's got kind of what they call a doctor's area, or doctor's addition, doctoring addition. So your cow can be in that section of the chute, and a vet or yourself, whoever, can come into this end and have access to the rear of the cow. That wouldn't seem like a normal thing for someone who's not used to or familiar with cows. But say if you're preg testing, that's they have to go in the rear basically of the cow to determine if the cow is pregnant or not. Additionally, when we go to band, you'll see that here in a few days, you have to have access to the rear of the cow or the calf so that you can put the band on the calf. So this was something for us that was really important. We talked about it quite a bit. It's an additional feature. We went back and forth on which way to go, and we ended up deciding on getting this. And to be honest, I'm really, really glad we did. The squeeze itself works on a friction system. So all you do is you pull the squeeze itself, pull it, and that's it. You let it go and it locks itself in place. It's on a friction, it's not on a ratchet. You don't have a little tooth that's ratcheting and you have to pry it open to get it closed. Once the squeeze is in position, it's not going to come loose. As try as you may, it's not going to unlock. Sometimes you'll have a cow that'll really be unhappy, uncomfortable in there, and they'll move, but try as they might, they're not going to be able to get that squeeze open back up, which was really important for us. Additional feature, which I'll show in a minute, is this panel right here, which is really important if you have a cow or a calf in the squeeze, or you've got it somewhat closed and you don't have your gate closed. If another one were to come through, they would try to, in many of your systems, sure enough, they'll try to put their head through right there. If I squeeze this a little more, they would try to put their head through right here. Typically, we would never have our chute squeeze down that much and have another one get in there. But this will prevent them from trying to get in 2 at a time, or trying to get their head through here when there's another calf in there. A lot of times you'll keep this kind of squeezed down a little bit if you've got smaller calves. So what will happen, what this prevents is keeping one of the other calves from pushing their head out. Another thing that was important to us was the ease of use of the head catch. The head catch is also in a friction system, opens and closes, and I'll show the operation from the front in just a moment. But the thing I really like about this goes back to my wife and I working just together, just the two of us, is that the handle for this can be moved all the way down. If this gate were closed and I've got a cow or calf in here, I can literally open the gate as the animal moves forward. I can close the head catch from here, so I can open and catch them from the one location and not have any problem. Most equipment doesn't have that option. You have to have someone there, and they'll either have to come open the gate, or you'll have to have someone running the alley and open the gates individually and working from there. Several other options, things that were important to us. You'll see these red kind of catches here. They go on both sides, and this comes with a bar wrapped in some nice rubber, so it's not going to hurt an animal. But once you get an animal in there, many times they'll try to back up, especially if you're preg testing or if you're banding a calf. What this can do is it just slides through, and wherever your calf may be or cow, you just slide it forward, and then if they back up, it's held by those little red stops right there. So they can't back up and hurt whoever is in this doctor's cage itself. The animal can't come back any farther than that right there, which is really, really a really thoughtful piece or addition to the chute itself. So we discussed this. The doors on this chute were really, really well thought out. There are multiple ways that you can open this, which is really beneficial to anyone running the chute. Depending on the operation you're doing itself, there's so many options. It just gives you a multitude of options on where you can open it, how you can open it, and different ways you can access the animal itself, depending on what you've got going on. You can see that it's got a simple, just a lift. You can literally do it with one hand. So you can have a vaccine or a pour on a drench, whatever it may be. You may have something in your hand, and literally you can grab the gate, lift with your thumb, and the doors open up. So if you need to get to the hip of a cow or calf or whatever, super easy to have access to, no problem at all. The gates close very easily as well. Simply push and they close. The way we've got it set up right now, we can also get to the front, same way. So if we need to the front shoulder, for example, but you'll have access to it. Additionally, there's also, let me move this handle. There's also, same thing, this access here, another doctoring access. This will give you the front part of their neck. So if you got to give a shot or something right intramuscularly in the neck right here, you have full access right there to their neck. Additionally, if you need even more access, you can pop this retainer and the door will come off entirely, or you can leave it. You can leave it on and have access here. If they've got something wrong with the foot, laceration or something wrong with that, you've got access to it right here, no problem at all. Same thing, it just goes right there, locks real easy. Additionally, the same kind of a latch system. Latch is super easy. The way they thought this out was just, they really put a lot of time and effort into the operation, the ease of use for whoever's going to be using it. The amount of access you have to the animal in the squeeze itself. I did show you that these gates open. I can open both of these gates. I can also turn this one in the opposite direction. so that it opens this way. You have the entire aspect of it. It'll close same way. Most of the time we don't need center access to it. We've got enough room here, so we leave the gates operating this way themselves. Additionally, the gates can move independently, so that now if I've got a cow in there, I've got full access from her top to her bottom, basically here, even access to her udders, or whatever you need access to other than her feet and lower legs. I've got entire access to through this gate system. It's got a lock on it, which I'll show you here in a few minutes. But what it'll do now is that lock will lock both the top and bottom. Now if I open, I've got access to the entire animal or the chute itself. If I need in here to work in there, whether it be to clean or whatever I need, I've got the entire access of the entire area with both gates open. It really will give you access. You'll never know you need that access until there's an animal down in there, and then it's like, oh geez, now what do I do? So close those again. Now I'll unlock this again, and this bottom will open independently if I open the lock. And I have access here to, again, same thing, lower part of an animal, legs or whatever. At this section, if I got a calf that needs the milk or something like that, a real young calf, small calf, they can kind of get under here and they'll still be able to milk a cow. Sometimes, once in a while, a heifer in particular, but sometimes you'll have a cow that'll do the same thing. They'll reject a calf. They'll knock it over. They won't let a calf nurse. But most of the time, if you give them a couple of days where you get the cow secure, she can't move, you'll get the calf in here, calf will nurse, and the cow will become accustomed to it and take the calf afterwards. Sometimes it doesn't work out that way, but sometimes you can get the cow to take the calf by putting them in a confined area and letting the calf suck a few times, and they will take the calf after that. So having access to that is extremely beneficial. What I'll do, lastly, I'll cover the head catch. So super simple. Pull it out, it opens right up. It's also operated on friction. So once it gets into place, I've got a cow or calf caught in there. They're not going to be open. As try as they might, they're not going to be able to get their head back out of there. Extremely beneficial because there is no ratcheting system. What many times will happen with a ratcheting system is, depending on your cows, of course, if you've got some cows that are pretty rangy and not handled often, which happens a lot in Wyoming, you'll get a cow in there that's fighting it, is really unhappy, and it'll slip and it'll fall, and now it's down on its belly in there, can't get back up, and so you can't, you may not be able to get the ratcheting system back open for the head catch. This does not have that. I can simply do this. Doesn't matter as much as they may fight the system itself. It's super easy to open, super easy to close. The operation is really smooth and it works fantastic for us. What I'll do now is I'll kind of bring the camera up close and I'll show you how some of these locks are. They're super handy, as in all they do is they'll lift to open and the whole thing will open. They close really easily just by closing the thing, but they also have a locking feature that I can lift and you'll see it locks right there. Now I have full access to it and I don't have to worry about it back and forth, no problem. So what I'll do is I'll grab the camera and I'll kind of show you those up close. And all right, what I'll do is I'll just kind of show you some of the features on these. These are super easy to use. Literally all you do is you pull it up a little bit. You'll see it will pass right there. It'll clear right there. And from that point on, I just lift and pull, comes right open. To close it, all I do is push and it locks in place. No problems at all. Really, really well thought up. Additionally, you can see this groove right here. The handle will come up, lock into that groove, and then the door will remain open all the way through. So we'll just close it, or you can just close it and it just locks really well. Additionally, you have these, which I was kind of pointing out before. Literally, you push up, nothing. It takes nothing to lift those. The gate comes right open. So they just come right out of there. Really well thought out. The last part I was going to show you will be this lock. In this up position, the upper part of the gate and the lower part of the gate operate individually. So I can open just the top, or I can open just the bottom. Now, if I lock that back into position, I have to open the one and leave it undone. And then now open it, and the whole thing opens or operates as one piece. Clam it, closes shut, done deal. Close that one, all done. That's pretty much the operation of our chute, our alley, and you can see the lead up there as well. If there are any questions, please put them in the comments. Again, I have no affiliation with these guys whatsoever, but boy, if I were asked, I would highly recommend this equipment to anyone. You'll see us using it here in a couple of days when we get everybody in. We're going to be banding and worming and doing those things for the winter. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and let me know in the comments if you have any questions or comments. Thank you very much. Have a great day.